This is how I'll always remember her. Make this big, please. There she is. Yeah. Vote, vote, vote. Yep. Here she is celebrating Chicago having the highest murder rate in the country. I mean, this woman, I don't want to lose her. I do not want to lose this woman. I mean, God love her. It's sad. All right, well, people are listening that don't see that they're not getting the benefit of this visual, so we'll turn this down. But, God, I mean, there's no one better than Lori Lightfoot. Can we go to her speech when she left? You know, Lori Lightfoot, for those of you who don't know, was the mayor of the city of Chicago, the great city of Chicago, which is descending into a hellscape. How many murders last year in Chicago? Just out of curiosity, if we can get that up. Chicago, violent crime there has been a major problem. There are large. One of my favorite stories was like there's large gangs of teenagers, groups of teenagers just running through, the midtown of Chicago, the Miracle Mile, whatever you call it, and they're just robbing couples and just creating chaos. I think they're working for Lightfoot. Like I think the kids are, because here's what she's got to do now. Lori, now that she has been evicted from her position, she's been taken out. Lori now has to wage a war against the city from the outside, because for many years she was waging a war against the city from the inside. But now she's from the outside has to like make sure the city stays as crime-ridden and filthy from the outside. She's just got to launch attacks, coordinated attacks. The year of 2021 ended as one of the most violent on record in Chicago. A rise in the number of shootings left more people dead than in any single year in a quarter century, according to statistics released by the police on Saturday. 797 homicides, 25 more than were recorded in 2020. So about 800 homicides. How many a day? There's 365 days in a year.
Almost like 3 a day.
Yeah, there's about 3 people a day in Chicago checking out. And, this was also, you got to remember, Lori Lightfoot went wild with the vaccine. She was threatening people, saying, if you don't take the vaccine, your time has come. We'll put you in jail. Yeah. We're going to find you. Again, this was the language of a villain. This was the language of like an all-powerful mob boss. It was not a governor. Here we go. She did not fuck around when it came to the vaccine. She was like Nazi-ish. She wanted everybody to get it. And if you didn't get it, she did that whole thing. Get up that thing where she goes, we'll put you in jail.
Yeah.
That was my favorite one, where she goes, we'll put you in jail. She goes, we will put you in jail. And it was just like you saw, that was like the zenith of state power during the pandemic, when people were just coming right out and saying, if there is anything you do that we disagree with, we are going to put you in jail. And that was like, I remember people sending that to me going like, this is going to really like be a huge problem for this woman. And it was, people, you play that back now, it seems so insane. Yep. Here it is right here. This is Lori Lightfoot.
We will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period.
Period.
There should be nothing unambiguous about that.
You mean nothing ambiguous,
Don't
sweetie?
make us treat you like a criminal. But if you act like a criminal and you violate the law and you refuse to do what is necessary to save lives in the city in the middle of a pandemic, we will take you to jail.
Get up,
period.
get up when she did Rona Destroyer. This is a montage of Lori Lightfoot. I am so sad to be losing this woman. I hope she runs for governor. I pray that Lori Lightfoot runs for governor.
Well, before we go, looks like trick-or-treating will be happening in Chicago this year. Yeah, that's Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot coming out in full costume, cape and mask as the Rona, as in Corona Destroyer, handing out candy to reporters and staff at her daily news conference. Trick-or-treaters will be asked to stay in groups of 6 or fewer there, avoid sticking their hands into any candy bowls, and of course, wear a mask with a mask over your mask.
Man, she's a symbol of the pandemic, isn't she, Lori Lightfoot? I think now COVID's finally over. I mean, I know the state of emergency was lifted in LA, but with Lori Lightfoot leaving, it's like the state, like it really is over. This is finally done with Lori Lightfoot being voted out. This is sad. Let's look at her concession speech here. She doesn't even seem present in her own body for the concession speech. Again, so much mayhem. So much chaos. So bloody. This woman was the ultimate villain. This is the type of mayor Chicago should have. It's one of the most corrupt cities in the world, and there's absolutely no way it should be run by anyone less than a complete, utter crime boss, which is what she is. She is like, somebody who from like the Ninja Turtles would have to invade her lair. Let's see how she conceded the election.
We were fierce competitors in these last few months, but I will be rooting and praying for our next mayor to deliver for the people of the city for years to come. I'm grateful that we worked together to remove a record number of guns off our streets, reduced homicides, and started making real progress on public safety.
Well, she didn't reduce homicide. I mean, but who cares at this point? And I don't know what guns she's talking about that are off the street. Certainly not the 900, murders. She didn't really reduce any homicides, but now she can live with her wife and be happy and she was the mayor of Chicago. She'll always be able to tell people, like, later on, she'll be on some like lesbian cruise and they'll be like, what did you do? And she'll go, I was the mayor of Chicago. And you go, Lori was the mayor of Chicago? She just cheated at cards. Lori was the mayor of Chicago because corruption is the DNA of Chicago, and it runs through this woman's veins. No matter what she does, any time in her life, she will always try to lie. And this is what I love about her so much, is that no matter what Lori Lightfoot, she literally just said, what about homicide? She goes, we